Okay, we're going to continue on with a little hoglet that I redesigned, and what I did was I took the original hoglet and I didn't like certain things about it, so I made a lower end case for it. The cam box, I made a different style cam box. I'm going to do something a little different with the Hall effect sensor pickup system on it. I may do something a little different with that too. The cylinders are pretty close to the same. I changed a few little things on it. Cylinder heads, I changed those a little bit. But for the most part, the internals, pistons, connecting rods, and the crank in the inside, that'll be pretty close to the same. So, but anyway, I got the housing still clamped on the mill on the knee, and I decided I'm going to just go ahead and crank around. I was thinking about making a drill jig, but I only have 2 sets of holes, so the heck with it. I'm just going to go ahead and zero my dials out, and we're going to crank around and do those holes. So let's move over to the mill. Oop. I'm up on the hose, air hose here. Trying to find you a decent spot here. You can look over my shoulder, kinda. Okay, well, let's move over so you can. We got a lot of junk on the end of the mill here. My little tripod or camera holder here. And what I'm going to do is I put an indicator on there, and I got 0. I want to set my dial because I didn't set any dials when I did that cylinder hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock it, the table on X, crank off, and then I'm going to crank back to 0. And then I'm going to 0 the dial out. Do it one more time. Go back to the 0. 0 there. Correct. Just to make sure. Swing it around. Think about. Don't like that. It's about a thou, but yeah, it would be plenty close enough. Yeah, it's about half a thou on the dial here. Try it again. Creep up on the 0. Okay. 0. Oops. Overshot it. Try it again. 0. 0. All right, so that's our X. I'm going to lock that. Now we're going to do the same thing with Y-axis too, so that I can get the Y set, 0 set. So we'll bring it around to the front here. So I'm going to crank away and then crank back into it. Away and then crank back into it. Set my 0 down here on the dial. And I'm going to crank away, and then I'm going to crank back to the 0 on the dial down here without looking at the indicator. Looks good. Just double check. Yep, we're there. So we have our 0 on the dials set now. I'm going to move you up there a little bit off to the right here. I might lower you down a little bit too. Kind of a sky laminate. The last video I did, I had the first one for the hoglet here. What happened was I messed around with some of the settings before and forgot to set them back to where they were, so the video wasn't all that great. I mean, it was kind of crappy, but oh well. I was thinking about redoing it, but we'll just continue on. Take the indicator out, put the drill chuck in, and I gotta get the dimensions for that. I think it was 562 or something like that. I'll have to open up my file here and take a look. I got my computer sitting on my surface bike yet. Hopefully the wind from the furnace isn't. It's 15 degrees outside this morning, so there's a little bit of a nip in the air this morning. Open up the drawing here, and yep, 562. I was correct. So I'm going to crank over to this corner here first. So I'm going to crank out 562. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 62, and we're gonna go beyond it and then come back. So beyond the 38. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing over here. 562. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. We got to go beyond. Actually, we don't go beyond on this one. Alright, let's go back to the 0 here. I messed myself up. I do that every now and then. Put a center drill in there and make sure I get back to my 0 in the right spot. I'll put a center drill in here. I just want to make sure I'm on the right spot. You'll notice if it's 200 thou off like that. All right. We want to go 562. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 62. Right there. That's the first hole, and those holes are a number 8, and I think I went 832, so that's what I'm going to make them. And we're going to center drill it. Didn't tighten that up or what? I don't like when these chucks spring back like that. If you ever break a center drill off, take your broken center drill and then grind half of the fluid away and make yourself a little tree pan tool. That is the easiest way to remove that tip. If you break the tip off of on a center drill, just take and grind it back and off, just like this, and then go back in without moving anything, and that'll tree pan right around that little tip that you broke off, and the tip will come zipping out of there. It'll spit it right out. Best way to take out a broken tip off the center drill. Obviously I broke a tip off of a center drill with this one and then went back in and tree panned it out, but that works with any size. So take the same tool that you just broke and go ahead and grind it back like that, and you've got yourself a tool to remove just a little tip. I learned that when I was in the shop and had a ton of work on something, and I didn't want to send it to the EDM after I broke it tip off, so that's what I did. Alright, number 29. Okay, and then I need a 82-degree countersink is what I use. And the reason I have 82-degree countersinks is because if I use a flush head screw, that's the angle on a flush head screw is at 82 degrees, not 90, 82. So they're kind of like multi task or multi-use tools. I just want to make sure that the first thread is got a chamfer. Now I need an 832 tap. I'm going to use hopefully use my little tap guide here. If I can find an 832 tap. It's getting hard to read these numbers on here. I'm just guessing that this is what I want right here. Nope, that's a 632. You don't want that. Let's see if we can find one over here. Ah, here we go. 832. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my thumb drive. If it'll fit. It may not. I don't think that's going to fit. Nope. I like to use this thumb drive on a lot of the smaller taps, but it's going to be too big for that. So I will have to use my little tap handle. And I'm not going to be able to get it in there, am I? Oh, well, that's a through hole. I'll just power tap that. Crying out loud. Alright. And we want some Molly D. I'm a firm believer in Molly D. If you don't know that, I've mentioned it, I think, on a lot of the videos. Molly D, especially for stainless. Oh my! I mean, you don't want to tap without it. But I use it on almost everything because. And naturally it's going to let loose. I love it when it does that. Not. Come on. Doesn't want to let loose there. All right, I'll get a little crescent wrench here. keyless chucks are nice, but for stuff like this, I'd rather have a keyed chuck. But and 7075 T651, that's what this material is. It's pretty tough material, really, for aluminum. Aircraft quality aluminum. This tap feels like it might be a little dull. Yeah, it is. And I get a different tap. That's why it turned out so hard. See if I can find one that's halfway sharp. I need to make myself an attachment to sharpen taps. Alright, what's this one look like? It looks okay. I think I'm going to go with a little bit bigger drill. I'm going to go a little less percentage on the threads, because that's 136. I'm going to go to a 140 on the next one. That should help. Okay, so now we want to come out to plus I think I'm going to get a smaller center drill. Alright. It's a little smaller than what I wanted, but it'll work. Alright, I'm just going to bring that down so I can tell where my zero is at. Okay, there's 0, 562. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 62. Right there. And countersink. And I'm going to put the LED on. This is actually a bottoming tab here. We're going to try it. Okay. Are all my taps dull? It feels like it's a little bit on the dull side too. Turning it out is dragging it. Shouldn't be. Alright, I'm going to move over here. 562, so we'll put the center drill in again. Bring that down. That's just so that I can see where my zero's at without having to guess. Let me just go like that. Right there's my zero. I'm going to go 562. And now we have to overshoot to take the backlash out and we'll go back to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50, 62, and we'll go back to the, it would be 38 on the dial. Right there. Okay. Should be ready. Should be ready. I'm just kind of eyeballing the chamfer so that the chamfer is just a little bit bigger than the first thread diameter. And I think I am going to switch to low. You bugger. That's a lot of times that's a sign of, that's one of the first signs that a tap's getting dull in aluminum. It'll come back to that cutting flute and then kind of drag. It runs free on the rest of it. So I think this tap is getting dull. It'll be okay though. Alright, now I got to move out to 562. And the same thing here, I got to overshoot and then come back to it. So, and put my center drill in there to. That just kind of gives me a cheat to make sure that I'm on the right path here. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it'll be 62, so I got to go past it and then back to it. Take the backlash out. Shift back into high. Furnace is coming on again. Countersink. Glad this was the last hole. I'd be getting me another countersink. Well, I could fish it out with a magnet, I suppose. Yeah, like I say, the Albright chucks and these keyless chucks are nice to a certain extent, but there are things that, and you can take it apart and clean it up real good. It'll work good for a while, and then it'll be back to the same. Anyway, mine are like that. Made it on the last one. Alright. So I'm going to lay this stuff over here. Center grill and the drill and stuff and the tap. And what we're going to do, what I'm going to do is unclamp it now. I'm going to go ahead and unclamp it. And then we're going to flip over to this side. I'm going to quick run an indicator across, and then I'm going to get my angle finder and put on here just to double check, make sure I got it at 42 degrees, and then we'll go from there. So we're done on this side. That. Take that off. Dump out my countersink, along with a lot of chips. Go over to the chip barrel and do that. Well, I got some of them out of there. So now we'll just put this up here, and to get me close. I had let's see it now. Well, I'll just eyeball it. I think when I'll get my angle finder just to get it close. And what I'm going to do is set that down on here. You can see the front of it, yeah. And then I'll turn it on and zero it out. And it's at 0. Should be eyeballed it. I got it within 0.9. I guess that's going to be close enough until I dial it in. I didn't realize it was going to be that close. Sometimes you amaze yourself that when you do that, like I put a vise on before and run the indicator across, and it's 0 all the way, and I go, well, I must have my indicator bottomed out or something. Check, no, just happened to slap it on at 0. It doesn't happen very often, but every now and then you get lucky. And like I say, this, once I get this, then I want to check to make sure it's at 42, and right now we're at 42.85, so I'm thinking that it's going to be damn close. Because I just roughed this out on the NC. I just buzzed around it. I didn't really take my time and take a lot of finish passes or anything. So that's why you can feel it. It's not. But I want to sandblast or bead blast all of it when I get done. I'll mask off the mating surfaces and bead blast the rest of it to make it look, and plus sand radius is on, and I want to try to make this look somewhat like a forging. So in order to do that, you radius everything and then bead blast or sand blast the heck out of it. I think what I'm going to do, I need to take the chuck out of there anyway to dial in my rest of it. I'm going to take that out right now. Get the chuck out. Shift into high here. And put the indicator in. Oh, plus my indicator. Here's another little tip or thing that I did when I was working in the shop, is I took my stem, used to be, just a 1/4 inch, and I hardly ever dialed in with a 1/4 inch, but I did with a 5/16, 3/8, and a half. So I put a bushing, Loctited bushings on my shaft so that now when I don't have to change collets. If I've got a 5/16 collet in there, or I can put it in there. If I've got a 3/8 collet, I can put it up there, or a 1/2 inch. It's just a little saved me from switching collets around. Could have went a step further and put I suppose a big 3/4 inch on there and a 5/8, but I found that was sufficient right there. Okay, loosen everything up here, crank this out. I'm going to catch this and go across. Let's see what we got. Nope. Tighten that up a little bit. Okay, we're at 0 there. And we drop off. So, that side's got to go down, or this side's got to come up. Let's try to knock this side down a little bit. I'm going to 0 that again. Close to that's ridiculous there. It's up about 15 power that far. It's sitting down tight. Alright, so that means we're going to go over here, grab a 0, and then move over to the other side. Loosen this up. Try, see if I can get something over here to give it a tap. And a punch here. We had a punch to tap on it a little bit here. Shouldn't take too much with it loose. It's naturally not going to be 0 because that side moved up too. And you'll have to go back and forth a few times here. So I can pull the chute right here forward. I overshot it to there. Pretty close. Zero. So we're about half that up. Up, see where we're at. Down to 0 now. And you can see that the surface is kind of wavy a little bit. And that's pretty close right there. I'm going to call that good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 1/2 inch end mill in here and buzz around this. I'm just going to touch back here and clean up because this side is actually sitting proud of this, sitting up above, and I want this surface flat because that's where the cylinder is going to load it against. And there's a dimension held from here up. That just determines where the piston runs in the cylinder. It's not, I mean, that's not real awful tight tolerance critical. I mean, it could be 30 thou off and it wouldn't matter. Okay. Hopefully my end mill will reach. I don't want to move my knee up and down. Well, I can now, but after I dial in, I don't want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it over here. Normally, I hate milling with a spindle extended like that. But if you're just taking light cuts, it's fine. But if you were hogging something out, you definitely don't want to do that, because it's if you understand fulcrum points in leverage, and you from the center line of the spindle here of the ram to here now is that much longer, so you've increased. So if you put 5 pounds of pressure there, you're putting a hell of a lot more pressure than you would up here sideways. So that's why you don't want to do that. I mean, people go, well, it don't chatter or anything. Anyway, that it's not chatter isn't the reason that you do that. It's the stability of the machine. Putting less pressure on the machine. Now I'm going to crank it up until it just touches. I think I see it touching right there. And all I'm going to do is just run across it, clean it up. Then I'll have to dial in the center line of the shaft again. Center line of this should be the same. That shouldn't have changed. We'll see. But I'll check it anyway, just to make damn sure. This way, that too could be off a little bit. It really is not all that critical. Can't be off a mile, obviously, because you have to run in a journal of the rod journal, and if you're off too far, it's not going to bind up. Okay. And I'm going to deburr that right away. Yesterday I had that little tiny burr there too. I'm just going to get rid of that little burr. There. Back here it seems like I had a big enough chamfer to start with. Well, it's only cleaning up there, and out here it's a little bit more than cleaning up, so. So now I'll put the indicator back in, and we need to dial that. The first thing I want to do is dial that the shank in again. All right, I want to dial the crank diameter in. What did I do? Oh, I put my indicator over here. Thought I laid my indicator down here, but I didn't. I put it away, or put it over there. Alright. And crank out and see where we're at. A little bit further, give myself a little more room. And then what I do is I put it up above just to eyeball it to get me close. I'm going to move the camera over on this side so I can get on the other side. I like reaching up on the pulley when I'm doing that. When I'm swinging stuff in, it's a little easier to turn, especially when you're not in absolute high gear. And I'll lower you down a little bit, zoom you in to where it's going to still focus yet. All right. So what I do is I just eyeball it here to where it's on the center. You can see obviously the center's over here somewhere. So we'll just move over there. So now it's like that. Now it's getting pretty close now. So actually, you're not going to be able to even see the indicator, are you? Well, let me take it over here. Yeah, trying to find the right spot for you. Well, you'll be able to see half of it anyway. And you know, you'll be able to see this side if it's 0 or not. So, what I'm going to do is bring that down. I'm going to have to move out further so I can get my dial face past the... Hopefully my head ain't in the way. That's the bottom of my stroke right there, and I haven't reached the center, so I'm going to have to pull the indicator out just a little bit or else move my knee in. I didn't really want to move the knee. So I did move the knee though, didn't I? And I cranked it up to touch. Dummy. I moved it down, pulled the indicator out a little bit more. Okay, we're going beyond the center now. Okay, find the high spot. Right there. Swing it back and forth. Let's see, which way is down? That's up. So the indicator's got to be moved over outward a little bit. There we go. Getting closer. All right, right there's 0. I don't know if you guys can see that. But right there is 0. So now we'll swing around to the other side. Hopefully and not hit anything. And bring it down. Indicator bottomed out. Alright, so we'll go back over here. The indicator bottomed out. I'm not sure if it didn't bottom out by too much, I don't think. Otherwise it would have moved it. Alright, so I can crank that over. I'm going to go about that far. Just guessing. Zero. Make sure. Well, within a half thou below is what it is right there. Alright. You guys can't see this. It's 10 thou. So I got to move it 5 thou according to the indicator. And we'll move it 5 thou. And we'll zero it out. Just double checking. 0. Alright. That's at 0. we're less than half thou, so I'm gonna lock that. I'm locking the table right there. All right. Now we need to check this. I just want to check it to make sure that it's the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my indicator down. It'll give me some idea where the zero should be. Should be right there. Overshoot it, come back to zero. All right, it should be dialed in yet, right here. Provided the clamps and everything positioned it up against, tight against the knee, and the knee hasn't moved. So zero. Flip it around. I think I moved my indicator. Yeah, I definitely moved my indicator. Either that or I'm quite a bit off. Zero. Swing it around. Okay, looks to be about maybe 2.5 tenths off center lines. It's close enough. So I'm going to lock that, lock my y-axis, and we are ready to poke a hole. So from here out, it's the same as from here out in. It's going to be the exact same thing as what I did over here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video right there. And when I get that side done, in what am I going to do after that? I'm not sure. I'm thinking that maybe I'll start on that. On the cam box, I could put. I know what I could do too. Is I want to make a like a mounting stand right away for it too. And these flanges on the side here, these flanges, I want to take and put a couple holes in that and drill and tap them, and then I want to make a stand that'll set in so that it's held in a stand for me. But yeah, I think I'll work on the cam box after I bore that hole in it and get the cam box on. And well, we'll play it by ear. It depends on what I feel like doing. You know, that's, to me, that's the nice thing about working out here in my own shop, doing what I want to work on. I don't have to listen to somebody tell me that I need to work on this because the deadline is almost here and we got to have it done by Friday, or yeah, I sure don't miss that crap. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Like I say, the quality on the first one the video was kind of crappy. Hopefully this one will turn out a little bit better. But like I say, once I got to get these in, I know it's sitting at 42 degrees in between. I could round up material for the cylinders right away too, but I was going to work on the lower end first. I wanted to get the lower end almost done, and then I'll work on the upper end, on the top end. So, what else to say? But stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys later. Okay, we finished up the holes. So, got the holes on the top, got the holes through. I want to put a couple holes in the bottom here. Like I say, I want to make a platform and a stand for it. But we're off to a start on it. So next I'm going to lay out the cam box, and what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing as what I did here. I'm going to go over and bolt her down on bolt a chunk of material down, and then rough it out, and then I'll finish the holes and the bores and stuff in it, and mount that on here, and I'll be one more step closer. But yeah, I'm started anyway. After work, like I say, after messing around with this during the summer in the mornings, what I did was early mornings, and before before the sun was up, a lot of times 5 o'clock, I kept waking up and not having to go to work. I still kept waking up at 5 o'clock, so I'd get up and go get the paper, read the paper, and then have a cup of coffee and sit down and work on designing and modeling and modeling these parts up. I have, like I say, I have a knucklehead that's just about completely modeled up also, which I have my own take on that too. I did not go per the drawing. I changed some stuff, plus the drawings that were out there for it, in my eyes, leave a lot to be desired, because there's a lot of missing information on it, information that's not there, that you have to kind of guess. And if you're not good at guessing, guess what? You're not gonna succeed. So, but anyway, I went ahead and I started modeling that up, and I got about, I'd say, damn close to being done with that too, as far as modeling it up. So whether I build that one, I'm hoping to build this. I was kind of wanting to build a radial engine, but boy, that's a lot of work, and I keep looking at them and I keep wanting to go back to steam engine. There's too many things to build that I want to build. This coil winder come along, and after reading Bob Shore's book, I wanted to try it. Not saying that I'll ever succeed at it or do it, but I want to give it a try anyway. I'm going to give it the old try. But anyway, I'm going to clean up my mill and probably program that cam box and round up some material for that. So everything went well on this, as far as I can tell. Like I say, the holes left are to hold that cam box on. There will be a hole pattern. Plus, I'm thinking about undercutting this and making it look like a forging, so I would probably undercut it by 20-30 thou and leave trails around the screws, you know, like little lands around the screws. I'm not sure yet what I want to do here. There's plenty of material. I left a little bit of extra material just for that, in case I decide I want to do that.